Just beat the rain as well.
Yeah, no, good timing.
Now, mate, that was a lot of fun. I loved all the countryside you took me to. Natural Bridge, awesome.
Yeah.
Gap that we went to.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All good.
Now, do you find that people actually choose the country right out of the city, I suppose?
A bit of both. So yeah, no, it's not far to get into the country from here, basically.
Now, as we discussed before, the great thing about it, I mean, we're just metres off the bay there, which is absolutely spectacular. You're up high, you get to see things from a different perspective, a perspective that you wouldn't get if you're, you know, on board a taxi or in a car, would you?
No, that's it. You've got no roof or windows to sort of encage you, basically. You're out there in it and nothing in the way, basically.
Now, if people want to get involved, they just jump onto the website, and that's harleytours.com.au, and if they plug ZoomTV, I'm sure they'll do the right thing by you, won't you?
Yep.
Mate,
we'll look after you.
You have been an absolute gentleman. Thank you very much, Paul. Good luck.
My pleasure.
I think I'm going to stay here at the Great Southern Distillery and just taste their whiskey. What do you reckon?
Sounds like a good idea.
It's going to warm me up. Now, if you do drop into Albany and you take one of the Down Under tours and it's the middle of winter, it's going to be cold, and the easiest way to warm up is to drop into here, the Great Southern Distilling Company, the makers of Lime Burners Whiskey. Now, I'm now joined by the marketing manager, Brent. How are you, Brent?
Good, Aaron. Great to see you.
And you too. Now, tell me more about this Lime Burners Whiskey. There must be a story there.
It is actually the first single malt whiskey ever made in Western Australia, the first legal, I should say. We've been operating since about 2004. We were started by our CEO, Cameron Syme, who started with a passion, did 16 years worth of research and learning how to be a distiller, learning how to become quite a master distiller, and then he decided that Albany was the right place to do it for the weather, the water, the location, the beautiful scenery that we've got as well, and then started in about 2004. About 2007 was our first release, and we've just gone from strength to strength.
Just take us through the process of how, I suppose, water is turned into whiskey.
So we start with a single grain, which is our malted barley. So our grains all come from the wheat belt. Now, we split that grain using a mill, and that opens up all the grains to release all the sugars and the nutrients and so forth, all the good stuff. Now, we mash that around, and that all comes out as a liquid form and then goes across to what's called the washback, which is the second big steel container. That is where you get all the tonnage or the haulage of how much of the liquid of the nutrients and so forth you're getting out of the amount of grain you've got. We oxidise it, we add some yeast in there, and we start getting the enzyme releasing and all the cool stuff starts going on. It then goes from that across to a fermenter for about a week, and that's when all the crazy alcohol starts, all the good stuff starts coming through. It then goes across to the stills, where we double distill it through 2 different stills, and then you're left with what's called the heart right at the end of that procedure. The heart is then a vodka-like looking substance that doesn't have the colour that the bottles have here, and then it goes into the barrels. And the barrel is where it gets all its colour and a lot more flavours and so forth added to it. So it'll then sit in these barrels for a minimum of 2 years, a lot longer normally. We won't actually release any whiskey until we're sure that it tastes perfect.
Wow, so in these bottles, there's an amazing amount of time and a lot's been invested in it, so you're actually tasting a lot of love out of this.
You are, absolutely. A lot of time and effort, and there is, I suppose you could say that each barrel is almost a science experiment in a way, because we can't see the results until 3 years down the track.
Massive investment. Now, I've got to tell you that I've heard nothing but good things about this. Now, it's an amazing achievement to have this coming out of little old Albany, let's be honest, but you couldn't do it anywhere else, could you?
Not without the weather, not without the water, and not without the great people that make it possible down here. So
thank you very much for having us down here and heating us up. Now, if you would like to try any of these, make sure you go to zoomtv.com.au and click on the Great Southern Distilling Company. Trust me, it'll be the best thing you ever did.